Hey guys, Zero here. I got an unboxing to share with you guys. It's a pretty big box, and if you guys can, you see by the tape, those of you who know what this is, you know what it is. If you don't, this is a Chinese recast of a Games Workshop or a Forge World model. So if it offends you, you can go ahead and click off the video now. If not, stay with me and I'm going to unbox it for you guys and show you what we got here. So my buddy Rob picked up this model from China for around $270 complete. The Forge World cost would be about $720, and that's not including shipping, but they might have a voucher for free shipping on Forge World. I don't know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But anyway, you can see there's a big monetary value and difference there. And this is one of those models that I know he's always wanted, but the original price scale is just way out of range. Not that he couldn't afford it. I mean, he could save up, he could buy one, sure, but it's the value. It's the value per dollar, you know, of these types of models. You know, they're beautiful models, they're huge, they're great, but you know, you're going to spend that kind of money on something that you're probably going to use maybe 1 or 2 games and never use again, you know, or shelf it, you know. So I would rather pay the lower cost, fix whatever needs to be fixed, and then go from there. So let's get this open. I'm going to put this box to the side. That's a whole box of resin. I'll put it to the side and I'll try to get the parts out so you guys can see that. So here's first part. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but this is a Warhound Titan from Forge World. And this is the front facing, or the front cockpit. You can see there the controls and the little seats. It's actually not a bad recast. There's the Aquila. Now, there's a huge bag here of bits. Now this, I'm not going to open this up. These are all the piping, the pistons, some of the small armor panels, the little shoulder joints there, more armor, some of the venting, things like that. I would open it up, but I don't want to spill all this stuff out and lose anything. There's one of the legs, the lower leg there. Here's a nice, huge, triple barrel laser cannon. Now, you can see here, that little piece, it looks like it needs to be repaired. You see it? But again, for the cost of this model versus what it would have costed from Forge World, you know, it's something that he knows he's going to have to fix or do some repairs with. So here's the shoulder piece that it comes with. And there's a tree. Now, me personally, I think, you know, if you can own one of these, you know, go for it. If you can own a full-priced one, go for it. If you can only afford the copy, go for that, you know, you have a group that you play with, you know, they should be fine with it. If not, you find a person or group that is okay with you using it. I mean, honestly, they're going to be more concerned about fighting a Titan than they are about fighting a recast Titan. I don't think the recasting is going to be an issue. I think the fact that it's a Titan will be the issue. There's the twin laser cannon. It's pretty big. And I think another thing, you know, it's just one of those kits that he had always wanted to get, but again, couldn't really justify at the time, you know, and now that his army is pretty much, his Dark Angel's army is pretty much finished, this was just something to kind of round out the army, you know. This looks like it's the rear torso. And it's got some of that detail in there. Or no, that might be the front, because that looks like that's where the head goes. Yeah, there's the Aquila. Looks like that's where the head might go. Yeah. Here looks like the two rear engine pieces, and then there's some internal stuff right there. There we go. There's detail. There's the eagle details, vents. This is where the void shield goes. Or no, is it void shield? Yeah. There's the other half. It's pretty clean, this piece right here, I have to say. Another, looks like the heavy super plasma cannon there. That's very cool. Now, also, there's some detail mishaps right there, but it can be fixed with some green stuff, you know. And again, at the cost of this model, yes, it is pretty expensive, but you know, we can almost deal with the cost of it and repairing it, considering how much you saved on the original. There's the mega bolters or whatever it's called. I mean, this is a pretty big, that's a pretty big piece of resin. You know, looks like the rear internal piece. There's some controls there, computer console. That's so cool. And there's the external. Looks like. That looks like the crotch there, the midsection. where the leg joints go. So one of the negatives I feel about these recasts personally is you don't get instructions with them. So I mean, I feel like if you're, you know, an experienced modeler, most of the stuff you can figure out where it goes or how it's supposed to go. But the fact of the matter is you don't get instructions, so you are left with trying to figure it out. So here are the shoulders, and you can actually see there's a little servitor in there, in the seat there, and this guy too. Pretty cool. So they operate the weapons, and that's all they do. But I mean, aside from the con of the price, you know, that's a given. That's why we buy the recasts for some of this stuff. You know, there's no reason that, I mean, it can be argued that if you can't afford it, don't do it, you know. But I don't know, I don't feel like these things are worth what they're asking anymore. Maybe when they first came out, sure, but I don't know. Their prices have gone up steadily throughout the years, and it's just become increasingly unaffordable. And that kid with, you know, an overabundance of finance shouldn't be the only one to enjoy the use of one of these models. Also, and in secondary, there's another leg piece there. And this is a big maybe, but another reason for getting this type of model, if God willing, and my buddy figures out what road he wants to go down, this might one day make a very awesome store display model for a new shop, a new hobby gaming shop, which is something we've been toying around with. So don't quote me on it yet, but you just might see this model in a window one day at a new gaming shop. There's a lot of pieces to this. Even though it's the smallest of the Titans, it still has a whole bunch of parts, and big parts too. So there's the other. Looks like leg socket, so you gotta cut that tree off of there. So you're gonna have to be careful cutting here, because you don't want to lose that little, see there, that little pip. There's 3 of them.
You realize that a lot of that's going to have to hacksaw it off, right?
No, that's your method. Now, here's the main throne for the control room. So you can see, like, this is where you see the little flaws in the recasting. You can see how warped it is, how warped the base is of it. But, you know, hot water and a little bit of TLC, and that should fix right up. You know, this is one of those models that when you pick it up, you just know you're gonna have to put in a little work to show off the quality of the model. Looks like the center stem where the body connects to the torso or the legs. There's an in-torn up door. Leg piece there. Here's an armor piece. This looks like the piece that goes right in the front of the crotch, or maybe in the back, who knows. But it's got a really cool servitor skull or mechanicum skull there with a little eye. pretty cool. Here is the head armor. Now pop those eyes out, and you'll be able to see inside there. And then here's the detail on the inside. Now I remember back in the day, Warhounds were the more commonplace because they really didn't have any of the other Titans made. But even these were extremely rare. Here's the upper carapace armor. Look at that eagle. I love this design. Just the framework around it. This piece actually looks really well done. They took their time molding it because that's one of the pieces you're going to see the most. You know, and that's another thing. A lot of these little pieces that have little parts here and there, they're a little funky. 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to see that part or where it connects. But still, I mean, you just know you got to fix it. So here's one of the pieces of armor for the leg. And that detail, I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but it looks really good. It's got a lot of detail in it. There's the inside. Here's the other side. It's just the plain armor. Very Imperial Knight. Or you can see where the Imperial Knight models got their influence. And I think they just gave him an extra. If you wanted to put one on each leg of this instead of the plain one, you could do that. So that's it. That's the Warlord
Warhound.
Oh yeah, that's right. The Mars pattern Warhound Scout Titan. So any game of open play or free play, these guys are like 75 points. But if you were to play match play, it's like 1,500 points, and it comes with the weapon option, the whatever two weapon options you want on it. So unless you're playing Apocalypse, you know, a normal game of 40K, you're most likely not going to see a model like this. This is why in tournaments they have such a small point value set for tournaments, because, you know, they don't want people using these guys. They're pretty rough to deal with, you know. If your friend doesn't have a weapon or weapons that do macro damage or damage that could contend with Titans, they're probably going to get wiped out. I've used big models in games before, and you know, you're always excited to use your models. But you have to take into consideration your opponent and what they're capable of doing. You know, and if you know your opponent doesn't have the models capable of handling it, it's just a dick move to play this model. You know, unless you're using it as a scenario piece, you know, or an objective piece, that kind of thing, then that's cool. Then the points don't matter. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see these in Apocalypse because it's the game that suits this type of model. And it's only if the enemy has stuff to contend with it, you know. So Rob will probably use his model 2 or 3 times, you know, and then put her up on the shelf. But nonetheless, you know.
No, it's going to be my cheerleader at every game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Have it there.
There you go. You've heard it straight from the horse's mouth.
Why not?
We could set it up to put a MP3 player there with a speaker.
We could.
And then you have your Warhammer music playing. But like I said, guys, it's a recast. You know, there's no. I never try to hide that on my channel because I do support Games Workshop. I do buy their products. I buy original kits all the time. I just bought some this weekend, you know. But some kits, some Forge World kits, I just don't feel their value in dollar is justifiable. So I go with a recast. You know, if that's offensive, then there you go. I mean, you know what it is. I'm just trying to show you that there is an option out there. I have a lot of friends who love this game, love 40K, love Warhammer. They just cannot afford to play. And it's sad to me because it's like, you know, they're missing out on a really cool experience, the modeling experience, the building, you know, the painting experience, the hobby aspect of it mainly. for me, but then they're also missing out on the gaming. Like, they can only go to a convention and see a guy like the, something like this on the table. But now, with some of these recasts, you can afford to put one of these out on the table, So it's just my opinion. I still have Forge World, legitimate Forge World models. I do own some, so does Rob. Most of the people I know own some. But, if you see my other videos, you know that I'm okay with getting recasts. With recasts, you just deal with what you get. If it comes a certain way, you just have to work with it. It is what it is. But that's just my opinion. But that is the Mars pattern Warhound Scout Titan with full weapon options. And again, it's $270 as opposed to $720 plus whatever shipping rate they go by. So that's a no-brainer. So now I've got to get my Reaver Titan, my Chaos Reaver Titan, so I can contend, at least have something to contend with this and the rest of his Dark Angel army of death. There you go. All right, guys, thanks for watching.